The two youths.
To what? What was that word?
What word?
To what?
What?
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, two youths.
What is a Ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Two youths.
These two Utes. Utes? Isn't that a great movie? That's a classic for sure. It makes me think of these two commandments. Many have said in the faith today that the only commandments that exist are love God and love thy neighbor as thyself. Whenever you suggest that, hey, maybe the rest of the Torah is still valid, they'll say, no, the Messiah did away with all that. Just love God and love neighbor. That's all we have to do. So I propose the question, did the Messiah teach that his disciples are only to keep two laws, to love God and love their neighbor as themselves? Is that the only two laws, the only two commandments that he ever taught? Well, let's go to the scriptures and see what Yah has to explain for us. In Matthew chapter 19, verses 16 through 19 and verse 21. And behold, a man came up to him saying, Teacher, what good deed must I do to have eternal life? And he said to him, Why do you ask me about what is good? There is only one who is good. If you would enter into life, keep the commandments. He said to him, Which ones? And Yahushua said, You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, honor your mother and father, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Verse 21. Yahushua said to him, If you would be perfect, go, sell what you possess and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and follow me. So there's 6 more commandments right there that he listed. Matthew chapter 8, verses 3 through 4. And Yahushua stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be clean. Talking to the leper here. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahushua said to him, See that you say nothing to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a proof to them. So there he is recommending that people give offerings as according to what Moses commanded in the Torah. Matthew 23, verses 2 through 3. The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do. For they preach, but do not practice. So right there, he's saying, do what Moses teaches in the Torah, but don't be like the Pharisees and the hypocrites that don't do what he says. They might teach it, but they don't do what he says. They're hypocrites. Luke chapter 13, verses 10. Now he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. So there he is, keeping the Sabbath, teaching. Matthew 26, 18. And he said, Go into the city to a certain man, and I will say to him, The teacher says, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples. So there's our example right there, the Messiah keeping the Passover, one of the Moedims. Matthew 7, 21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father, who is in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness or Torahlessness. Right there, people are going to get a big shock when they realize they haven't been following his laws. So to answer to the question, did the Messiah expect his followers, his disciples, to keep only 2 laws in the Torah? The answer is no. Just from the few verses above that we read, we saw that he had teachings and expectations for his disciples to follow all the commandments. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not lie. Honor mother and father. give offerings, keep the Sabbath, keep the Passover and all the Moedim, give to the poor. All of the Torah hangs on these two commandments, but it does not eliminate the other commandments. The Messiah, just like a true Torah teaching rabbi, he taught the spiritual intent behind the Torah, which is to love God and your neighbor as yourself. But he didn't cancel the others. The others just hang on these foundational principles. So the question now is, are you going to be his disciple or someone else's? I hope y'all explained this to you well. Sure love you guys. Bless you. Bye.